water.
So forth. But you said something last night before the screening. You said this was a dangerous film to make, and I'm curious about that.
Well, I mean, it's a movie that does not follow rules, the conventions of storytelling. Because if you learn, you know, I know how to make movies in the system. You know what I mean? I know what's asked from others. I know what's asked of me. You know, and you know that can become constricting to the point that, you know, I want to lean towards originality more, and originality requires breaking rules, you know. And this movie is all. I basically said I'm willing to break any rule, anything that makes the movie safe and says, okay, the good guy does this, and this is what happens at this part of the movie, and you know, audiences need this kind of thing at this point. I was willing to throw all that out and just do whatever the imagination wanted, kind of free form, and see if faith in storytelling can bring this to a conclusion in a way that would be thrilling.
Well, I think that all your movies are like that, and I think that's why they're better than other people's movies, though. Oh. I mean, so I technically, I guess it's safe to say then that you would never sell out for us, would you?
Yeah, well, no, you know, I remember I got to offer this giant movie, which became a giant movie, one of the biggest movies, and I said no to it, and my dad was like, why did you do that? You could have made that. And I was like, Dad, I can't, you know, and I was explaining to him, I said, I wish I could do it, and I would have done it if I felt organic and truthful, that I could have integrity, but one day, you know, I want to look back and just see every single movie of mine, you know, that I could defend, you know, and I want to see, you know, when they do that kind of thing at some film festival and they show, you know, clips from all my movies, I want to be, you know, proud, chin up, and staring at it and going, yeah.
And please don't sell out or we'll come after you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there was also, I believe, there was a little attack at a film critic in the movie here, was there not?
Well, I'm trying to think back on it, the story. You know, it was interesting because the movie is about storytelling. It's about how people relate to stories, the lost art of stories, and how we listen to them. And I knew that I needed to be a character that was an expert in stories, and that he would stop learning. Whereas Paul's character was willing to learn and listen like a child and believe in things. This guy didn't believe in anything. And so it was a wonderful thing to have Bob Balaban play the film critic.
And thinking back from what you just said now, I think that was also a little saying that my movies are not like other Hollywood movies. I think that, it's interesting there. Also, I was reading about how your movies are made like how you are at that moment, emotionally.
Yes.
But I always look at, if you're making a film or a project, it's almost like a painting where you're slowly putting it onto film or stuff. But what happens if your mood changes during a filming, or you have a story in mind, but had your life changed, or you're happier when you're not dark or something? How does that change a film when you're making it?
Well, I think that what happens, just like a relationship, you know how they say like couples start looking like each other, you know? Well, I start looking like the film, and the film starts looking like me. And then I end up having kind of a very parallel experience in my life, you know, to what the main character is having in his movie life. And it always happens that way. It always happens that way. For that year and a half or 2 years, I'm having a same experience, and we're sharing a path together. It's really weird.
Now, I want to talk about Bryce for a second, because she doesn't have a lot of lines in this movie, yet she is delivering some powerful performances in there. Are you? Did you know you could get that from her? Or did you have to bring that out of her?
Oh, well, you know, I certainly didn't have any doubts about her acting ability. The character kind of evolved over the screenplays to being the character that won't tell you anything. And then he had to keep guessing, and everyone had to keep guessing because she won't tell you anything. She would just stare at you and kind of acknowledge that you're on the wrong path or on the right path, but very, you know, this is a secret. I can't tell you anything about who I am and this world. You're just gonna have to guess. Every one of you is gonna have to guess about how this works.
Can't wait to see what you're doing next.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you.